Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Kotobukiya bishoujo statue of Freddy Krueger from Freddy vs. Jason. This is a look at the packaging, including what I like is these little slash marks on the top of the box. Now, Kotobukiya has done bishoujos of movie characters in the past, like Men in Black and Ghostbusters, but this is the first time they've done a straight-up villain, and a malicious villain at that, so it's kind of fun to see Freddy get like all tarted up in a foxy kind of pose, and they did put her in a very foxy bishoujo style pose. I dig the distribution of like her hand on her hip, like the hip weight shifting over to one side, and you know, the very broad butt thrust going on back here. The arched back, it is very pin-up-y, which I think is kind of cool for this. Like, it may not be everyone's cup of tea to see Freddy as a pin-up model, but I think it's kind of fun. But let's take a closer look at the figure, because there's a lot of really good paint shading going on here. This is what Kotobukiya excels at, is shading like of the skin areas, like the stomach. You can kind of see it on like the meat of her butt there. There's like a shade. They do really good contour shading. You can see it in the butt crack and the lower back area. Also, her costume has really good sculpted textures to it, but it itself has some like dark shading in the wrinkle areas. And I think Kotobukiya is great at that. Also, her hair, they do this sort of translucent plastic, so, you know, even though it's like thick, dense hair, you know, when light hits the hair, you can kind of see through it, and they use kind of a lighter plastic that kind of reads like a cartoony hair. We'll take a closer look at her face in a moment, but I do like how they handled the gloves. I think the gloves are in a really kind of cool, it's a Freddy pose, but also like bent at the wrist, kind of a cute girly pose. I do think it's cool that they used netting to create the fishnet on her leg, and I think it's appropriate that since this is Freddy that there are some slash marks here, even if I do think the paint is a little one-dimensional. Let's take a closer look at her face now, because there's some really good work being done here. Koto's always really good at their paint, especially in their faces. Her eyeballs look really cool, the eyelash paint, the shading around her eyes and where it meets the nose. There's really good skin shading. I do think that little dark line that through her mouth is a little too dark for my taste, but the bottom lip looks good. I like the kind of gloss they put on it. Her teeth look good. But the shading around like her neck and like where it meets her face, like it's kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of good basic little like highlight shading, and I dig that. There's a closer look at where her shirt opens up, and you can see like the detail of the edge of her bra. There's a lot of good little details on here, like her shorts. I'm not trying to be crass here, but like they did a good job with the material and the way it like stretches, the way the fabric stretches, and the edges of the jeans are frayed. These are completely unrealistic jeans that are somehow high riders and show her butt cheeks, but also low riders and show her butt crack. But I do like that there's a Freddy vs. Jason patch on the jeans, and I like the way it bunches here. Like, it's just really good simulated fabric, so I dig that. Now, this bishoujo comes with a magnetic base, and that's kind of a bad thing. I would like magnetic bases more if the bond was strong, but I don't feel like the magnetic connection is that strong. Previous bishoujos came with a peg that connected into a hole in their base, and I like that about bishoujos. It helps stabilize and make them feel more secure on the base. I live in Earthquake County, and it takes just a little tiny tap for it to fall right off. Or maybe if you just like live it in a home where you might bump a shelf easily, you could see just how easily this doesn't stay on the base. And that's kind of a problem for me. The Star Wars Artifacts Plus ones did that, but I always like the bishoujos because they were more stable. I'm a big fan of the Kotobukiya bishoujo line. I'm also a huge fan of Freddy Krueger, and I really like Freddy vs. Jason, so I'm looking forward to the Jason figure in this line, but I'm also really happy with the way this one turned out. Although I do think it's curious that Freddy wears a sweater and they made no attempt to make her shirt look anything like a sweater as far as the material goes, because they replicated the jean material, but they didn't really replicate the sweater. In any case, I like the way the sweater's ripped. I think it looks cool, and I think this figure looks really fun. As far as translating the character into a bishoujo style, I think this turned out to be a really cool statue. May not be for everyone's taste, but I certainly like it. Thanks for watching.